Hi, I'm just wanted to say that I've just seen something on YouTube. It's a premiere for one of his latest films. It's not his latest film. It's actually his penultimate film. A film which had a lot of criticism, and it's still getting a lot of criticism, undeservedly so, because a lot of people just don't get it, and they still won't get it for a long time. It's The Happening, and the filmmaker I'm talking about, obviously, is Night Shyamalan, a filmmaker who I happen to be a huge fan of. I've been a huge fan of this guy since his breakthrough film, The Sixth Sense, which of course I've got a copy, and I've been a big fan of all the films he's done ever since that one. He has sort of done very different films since then. I think the bravest one he did was his follow-up, Unbreakable, which of course I've also got a copy of. It was his most unusual film, I think, and it took the superhero genre and it turned it completely on its head. This is not even considered a superhero film. I mean, you hear people mention superhero films, they'll talk about Spider-Man and the Hulk and what have you. I don't even think the Hulk is a superhero, he's a tragic figure, really. But with Unbreakable, yeah, this is never talked about as a superhero film, so once again, it was completely overlooked. Of course, it didn't gross as much as The Sixth Sense. I mean, The Sixth Sense broke all kinds of records, as we all know. It grossed, I think, as much as I think it was 700 million worldwide or something massive like that. And this grossed about a third of what that did. Barely 200 million this did. But it was still an absolutely brilliant film, and the critics, or so-called critics, they actually acknowledge it as one of his only two classics. You know, he has succeeded in making two classic thrillers. Well, yeah, the critics would say that, wouldn't they? Because they don't understand shit, quite frankly. But everything he did after that, I consider also to be a minor classic. And like I've also just said, every one of his films is different. Signs, the third film, of course, which he did, the crop circle one, in which starred a brilliant Mel Gibson. He really does have a knack of taking these major film stars and just capturing them at their best, like a lot of the great directors do, of course. But with this film, it was a big surprise when I went to see it. It started in a different way than I expected. It was a different film completely to what I expected. But it still had all the M. Night Shyamalan trademarks, good storytelling, really great atmosphere. You know, I mean, he has brought what he has brought the old-fashioned, if you like, atmosphere of what we possibly all used to enjoy at the cinema. You know, way back. You know, we're talking even before the 80s came along. So all the old-fashioned atmosphere and stuff from all those classic authors, he's brought that back and put it into modern cinema, which is fantastic. I think one of the reasons why he's such a success today, regardless of all the criticism that his films have had. But there you go. I suppose it's the price you pay for just being very good at what you do. I'm sure even Spielberg, when he was good, he only did 3 decent films as far as I'm concerned. Close Encounters, Duel and Jaws. But after that, he went off the ball completely. But I suppose he did exactly the same thing early on in his career. But yeah, all these great filmmakers do the same thing. You know, they bring strong characterization, they bring strong atmosphere, you know, characters you really care about, and really good plots. That's what I love. You know, that is something to be really admired. But yeah, having seen this thing on the, I've got a copy of The Happening, by the way, and I really liked it at the cinema, but I just knew that I was the only one in the cinema who probably looked at it with admiration. I think everyone else at the cinema, I just have a feeling that no one else got it. They were just, you know, it was quite embarrassing. You know, I was quite embarrassed sitting there thinking, well, you know, I bet they're not going to get this. I bet they don't like it. And to be honest, I went out the cinema pretty quickly because I didn't want to hear anyone behind me having a go at it, saying it was crap, because I just knew that they would. And all these things on YouTube, which I've looked at, they're not much better. They are criticising it. They still are now. Millions are probably criticising it. Oh yeah, nothing happened in it. Nothing was any good. It was a stupid story, and all this, that, and the other. It was a stupid story. Okay, let's start there, shall we? It was a story about nature. It was a story about the little tricks that nature sometimes possibly has up its sleeve. You never know what it can do out there, and that's stupid. Right, and then you got these films like Sex in the City 2 come along, and they gross millions. No one criticises them for A, lack of plot, B, lack of character, and C, possibly not even very funny. And then a film like The Happening comes along, made by a very good filmmaker who is still enjoying good form, and the film is good on characterisation. It's got a pretty decent storyline, maybe not one of the best in the world, but it was a pretty decent story anyway. And it was very well made. All he did was use a few wind effects and other simple things, and yet he creates an atmosphere of sheer menace. And frankly, I was gripped from the moment it started. I sort of knew how it would unfold because a mate of mine had seen it before, but he didn't want to say anything about it, obviously. So, but he said, yeah, it was okay. You know, it made sense. It was really good. And I trust his judgment. He's not much of a fan of this guy, but he's only seen a few of his films. But you know, can't expect him to like everything that I love. So, but yeah, he said it was all right. He admired it, and I went to see it, and I knew exactly what he meant. I thought it was really clever. But then, of course, I knew that it would be constantly criticised. I knew the critics would have a go at it. You know, I mean, it just gets really boring, tiresome, listening to all these arseholes, frankly, who just haven't a clue what they're talking about, and they just don't even give it a chance. The only thing I will say about it is that hopefully it's going to be one of these films which is enjoyed and appreciated possibly a lot later in life, like a lot of these thrillers are, because they don't do very well at the box office. I'm not sure how The Happening did at the box office. It probably didn't do very well, I don't know. I didn't even bother to find out, to be honest. But if it didn't do very well, then, well, so be it. But hopefully, like I say, it will enjoy an audience and a lot more appreciation later on. Probably when the guy's dead, I would think, but by then I think it'll be too late. But then that was one of the messages from The Sixth Sense, wasn't it? We best all communicate and this and that before it's too late. Well, a lot of the times it is too late. And for me, it is extremely late. Because all these films that he's done, because, yeah, like I say, these are some of the latest ones he's done, and of course I've got, you might be able to see the Unbreakable poster behind me. So I am a huge, and I've even been on his website as well. Very good website, tells you a lot of things you didn't know before. And mind you, what galls me is he's a little younger than I am. So yeah, he's very good at about my age. So, but you know, these Americans, I think, adapt very... Yes, I know he's not American, he's Indian by citizenship, but he's lived most of his life in America anyway, so he's an Indian-American, if you like. But, yeah, he achieved this success at a very young age, obviously. So, yeah, I just wanted to say I'm going to enjoy these films for a lot longer, and I'm going to appreciate them a lot more than anyone else probably does, but at least I know that there are people on there who... do appreciate it. He does have a lot of fans out there, people who do not criticise every single film he does, people who do not come down and say that every film that he does now is a load of crap, which is absolute nonsense, you know. Like I say, they just don't get it. They just don't get the stories, they just don't get the simplicity of it, and that's just unfortunate, you know. I'm not going to sit here and have a go at them just for that, but I just think it's unfortunate that he's not appreciated for what he is. He's never sold out to Hollywood. He's never just grabbed money and just said, okay, I'm going to make this, and I'm going to make this big movie for like hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever. He's never done that. He's not ever sold out. He continues to write good scripts, with good stories and good characters in it, which has always been his strength, and he's very, very good at it. And for me, including the last film he's done, The Last Airbender, which I've just seen in Florida a few weeks ago. I was away in Florida for a couple of weeks and I saw it there with my dad. And yeah, that was very good as well. So he's not come up with a disappointment yet. And frankly, I don't think he will. And well, if he does have an off day, well, I just hope, like all great filmmakers, that he's going to make still make a pretty good one. I mean, what is it they say? You know, it doesn't matter how good you are when you're at your best, it matters how good you are when you're at your worst. And even when you're at your worst, even Stanley Kubrick, the great filmmaker who, of course, passed away long ago, when he was at his worst, he made pretty good films. So I think it'll be the same with M. Night Shyamalan. So here's to you, M. Night. You're a great filmmaker. I'd love to meet you, by the way. I wish I could. On this YouTube thing, I saw people actually meeting him, and I'm envious as hell of them, but maybe one day. But yeah. So yeah, keep rocking, M. Night. You're a fantastic filmmaker. Keep making great films, and ignore anyone who, I'm sure you do, but just give those who don't appreciate them time, because well, I appreciate you if no one else does. Okay. See you guys later. Bye.